Sir, you are welcome. We'll take this. May we take our seats? The representative of the Inspector General of Police, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, sir, you are welcome. Our program was arranged with the beginning having anthems. I would request that we first stand and we take the anthems, then the rest of the program items shall come. Yeah, we can take our seats. We are going to the next item first, which is a prayer, and I will call upon Assistant Commissioner of Police Emilian Kaima to take us through.
Let's humble ourselves for a word of prayer. Lord Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for our lives and the lives of our families. We ask that you come and preside over this function and guide it through its implementation. We thank you for everybody who is here, and we promise to do everything possible to stabilize families in the service of our country and of you, God. We ask all of this in the mighty name of God. Amen.
Thank you, Emilian. The Deputy Inspector General of Police and the Chief Guest, sir, you are welcome. Allow me make this small introduction and small statement. I am Assistant Commissioner of Police Chituma Rusoke, the Police Public Relations Officer. Ladies and gentlemen, guests, diplomats, senior police officers, not forgetting the Fourth Estate in our midst, good morning. It is my honor and privilege to take you through this session as the Masters of Ceremony And some people also like to call me a director of ceremonies, but not a police director. You are all welcome. And the day is good. We shall make this program as short as possible, and we shall run through. We want to make sure that as lunch closes in, we are done. Sir, Chief Guest, allow me introduce some distinguished guests in our midst. We have my Lord Justice Olive Karazare Mkwaya, I think from the Land Division, if I'm not mistaken. We have my Lord Justice Christine Nakelo from the Family Division. You're welcome, my Lord. Sir, we have police directors. We have the Director, Human Resource Development, AIGP Moses Kafero. We have Director, Research and Planning, AIGP Erasmus Twaruhuka. We have the Director, CPC, that is Chief Political Commissar, AIGP Ubaldo Bamnova. We have the Director, Welfare and Sports, Production and Sports, Dr. Hadija Namutebi. From the Prison Service, we have Assistant Commissioner General of Prisons, Hilary Bisanga, the Director, Human Resource. We have the Director, Forensic Services, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mobiru Andrew. Protocol, just in case there is one who could have come in and not captured, please make sure I have the name for recognition. We have the Director, Interpol and International Relations, Senior Commissioner of Police, Joseph Obona. We have also the convener and head of doctrine and curriculum development, Senior Commissioner of Police, Kamia John. Sir, I'm cognizant of time, but allow me say that we have development partners in our midst. We have Charity Ahumuza Magara on your right, the Program Officer, Democracy and Human Rights, Embassy of Sweden. On your left, sir, we have Frida Apio, representing the country manager, IDLO. We have a number of partners, but in the interest of time, shall be introducing them. Sir, allow me run the program that now that we have taken the anthems, we are going to have remarks and a presentation of the training curriculum and manual by Senior Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kamia. Doctor, I will ask you to come briefly.
Our chief guest, representing IGP, the representative of the Swedish Embassy, Madam Charity, representative of Country Director, IDLO, Madam Joyce Apio, justices of the High Court, all directors around, all distinguished guests in your respective capacities. The hall is so high-powered that if I start on the protocol, I think electric voltage may hit us here. High voltage. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Kamya John. I'm a Senior Commissioner of Police, heading the Department of Curriculum and Doctrine in the Uganda Police Force. I'm going to introduce to you the tools that we are launching today because I was heading the group that was developing the tools. Can I ask the IT people to put up the presentation? So, I think you can follow from here. These are the 3 tools that we are launching. We are launching a curriculum, we are launching a training manual, and we are launching a facilitator's guide for the Child and Family Protection Induction course. For those who are not so familiar with the training terms in the police, an induction course is that course that officers take when they are taking a specialized, when they are going for a specialized function. At the beginning, we all attend the same training for 1 year. But after the 1 year training, which we call the initial training course in police, which trains you to be anything in the police. After the 1 year training, if you want to join CID, you go and do a specialized course in CID. That's what they call induction course. You are being inducted into CID. If you want to join traffic, you do a traffic induction course. If you want to join forensics, you do a forensics induction course, and so on. So these tools we developed are for people who have finished the police training and they are going to specialize in child and family protection function. But before that, let me give you a small background of the child and family protection function. This unit was started in 1995 as a gender desk. And it was meant to handle the then increasing number of domestic violence and child abuse cases. And you remember it was headed by a lady called Ellen Ariek. Those of you who were around at the time. She passed on during COVID time. This unit later turned into the Child and Family Protection Unit, and this metamorphosis was supported by the British government. Remember, there was a fund called British Fund for International Development, which later became the International Development Agency, IDA. So when the British were helping us to start CFPU, they sent us 2 experts. One was called Susan Bafton, and another one was called David Bafton. They were a couple, but they were working in the British police. So they ran the first CFPU induction course here. I was lucky to be one of the people who attended it. And after that course, they selected a few of us and took us to UK to understudy their unit there. I will tell you why I'm telling you about these people. But in 2010, the unit was upgraded to a department. Now, the formerly known CFPU became the now famous CFPD, Child and Family Protection Department. But in 1997, when they trained us, they did not leave us with a curriculum. After the course, they left us with the training notes that we are putting down as they were training us, and probably a few handouts. So we were now reconducting that course using those notes that the British left us. But we also kept on getting training from partners. Center for Domestic Violence Prevention did a very great job during that time up to today. UN Women has continued. So partners have been bringing in different aspects of child and family protection to our officers. UN Women, UNICEF have done a great job, UNFPA, International Justice Mission, Ministry of Gender, World Vision, Save the Children, UONET, UGANET, ICJRL, RTF, especially in the area of SGBV, Uganda Law Society, Hope for Justice, KCCA, Platform for Labor Action, UNHCR, and so many partners, especially those that are in this room that I may not be able to. So we've been having a CFPU which is just being equipped as they go on with their work with the specific, trainings coming into 5 days, 2 days, 1 week, something like that. But in 2021, IDLO started supporting the unit, actually the police as a whole, in the area of prevention and response to GBV and violence against children. So they came in, we told them we have a knowledge gap, and they are supporting training sessions in the field. We are finding the officers in the field. Ruizi, Albertine, West Nile, Erigon, so many regions. I think they will tell us. So their training was not focusing only on CFPU. It was, they would put CFPOs in the room, plus CIDs, plus probation and welfare officers from the Ministry of Gender, plus medical officers from government hospitals in those regions, because that was the chain for handling GBV. And they would train us for a week. So during these trainings, that's when, during our interactions, we told them, we're having this hard doc, but we don't have the foundational course. We don't have the tools for the foundational course for CFPU. So they said, okay, we can support you in this. When we are conducting those trainings, they trained us as trainers. I was among those that were trained, and I was privileged to lead the training teams that now we are conducting the trainings in the regions. May I ask those trainers we were training with to stand up, my colleagues who were conducting these regional trainings? Lillian, Maureen, Lydia, yes, Wanzara. What is your second name? Alex Wanzara, he's a superintendent and the deputy regional CID in Mbarara. So these are the people who did the TOT, and now we became the critical mass for conducting these trainings amongst our officers, mainly focusing on prevention and response to GBV. So along the way, we agreed, or IDLO agreed, that they will help us to develop the tools for CFPO induction, because now we are just finding people in the field, but we are saying now those who are coming to join the unit, they need a foundational course. So IDLO agreed to support us. They hired us a consultant, Mr. Robert Tumusime. Mr. Robert, where are you? He was our main consultant. He comes from the regional training facility of the ICJRL on SGBV. So, IDLO started by funding a training needs assessment. We went to the field and the training schools and asked the officers there what is existing and what are the gaps. So here we are in Cavalier doing a TNA In this picture, we are in a cafe in Yumbe doing a TNA. Here we are talking to trainers. We went to Oririm for TNA. After the TNA, and we put together a report identifying the gaps, and having talked to the CFPU people, we constituted a drafting team. A drafting team, I think I will ask them to stand up later because there is a time for recognizing them. So IDLO funded a workshop in Entebbe where they put us in a hotel for 2 weeks to draft these tools. They are formidable tools as you will see them. So this was the drafting team. After drafting, we pre-tested the manuals, the tools in PTS Cavalier to find out whether the content was relevant, whether it would fit into the time allocated, whether the practical exercises were applicable, and so on. So we validated the tools at Cavalier, PTS, and then we pre-tested the tools at Cavalier, and we validated the tools in Kampala at Kabila Country Club with most of the partners here. I will also recognize them later. So then we cleaned up the tools after validation, and now they have been printed. And we are launching them today. So IDLO funded the pre-tests, they funded the validation, they funded the drafting, they have met the costs of printing, and they have funded this marvelous launch. I think we need to give them a round of applause. So they totally got the mantle, they took up the mantle, no co-funding. Even the police did not co-fund. They would just ask us, what do you want, what do you want? They don't give you money, you don't touch their money. They manage their own money. That if you want to be in a hotel, they pay the hotel. They almost want to pay our taxi fares. They want to say, where is the tax, the bus, so that we pay them and you go to Yumbe. But for us, we are very comfortable with that because so long as the work is going on, yeah. So I see my director may be saying, Kamia got all this money and no, we didn't touch their money. So I would like to thank them dearly, but we were meant to understand there was an invisible hand that we were not interfacing with, and all this funding by IDLO had also been obtained from the government of Sweden. So the funding was coming from the government of Sweden to IDLO to police. So I would like to thank Madame Charity for this support. We have now informed the IDLO of the need to, by the way, they are printing for us massive copies. I don't know how many so far. We told them we want 300 for each tool, and they are also meeting the cost of printing. We have informed them that after these tools, we shall need to run training of trainers, courses for the trainers that will be training the CFPOs, and they have agreed to assist. So Embassy of Sweden, if you see IDLO coming for more funding, there are still activities to do. And also, after that, we need to conduct some induction courses, because you know that, Chief Guest, you know that up to now there are some stations which don't have enough CFPOs. You actually find each station has 2, 3, even there are some which have 1. But police posts don't have child and family protection officers yet. So we shall have to run a few induction courses, including getting a batch from the now 3,500 PPCs who are undergoing training. We may have to grab some 100 and run them through. So we thank IDLO in advance for accepting to support these other efforts that are still ahead. So going to the tools themselves, the tools are three: a curriculum, a training manual, and a facilitator's guide. I will describe to you the curriculum is a small document of 80 pages, I think about 82. The training students manual is a huge document of 590 pages because it contains all the content and the practical exercises and the illustrations. Then the facilitator's guide is a big document of 450 pages. This one guides the facilitators so that everybody delivering this course is following the same guidelines, and therefore you are sure that every CFPO who comes out went through the same content. So they are well guided with the facilitator's guide. So how did we develop these tools? We started by compiling a competence profile of a CFPO. Technical team, can you please put it up for me? It failed to fit into PowerPoint. So we said, who is the CFPO that we need? Or what are the competences of a CFPO that we want? So we compiled the duties they do and the tasks that they perform. I'll just go with the duties only. We say they must be able to conduct investigations. They must be able to preserve evidence, especially in gender-based violence cases. They should be able to interview and interrogate witnesses, interrogate survivors. They should be able to present evidence in court at one time. The CFPO we want should be able to have skills in basic counseling and guidance, because you know the state of survivors of gender-based violence, how they come. So counseling and guidance was key. A good CFPO should be able to raise awareness to the public about issues of GBV and violence against children. They should be able to collaborate and coordinate with other stakeholders, and they should be able to refer cases to the appropriate stakeholders. They should have skills in conflict prevention, management, and resolution. They should have knowledge of handling juvenile offenders. You know, juvenile justice is a whole branch of justice with its own rules, which are different from adult justice. So they should be able to handle juvenile offenders. They should be able to draw work plans and budgets, organize and manage meetings, appraise staff, because we have district CFPOs, regional CFPOs with staff under them. They should be able to write returns and reports, and they should be able to overall ensure security and safety of victims, stroke survivors. So after knowing the CFPO we want, then we started drawing the tasks and therefore the knowledge and skills that they need. That's how we came up with the manual. So technical team, remove this. Okay. So after that, these are the modules that we put in the curriculum. They are 10. 10 modules. I want to say this because there are so many partners here who are great partners in gender-based violence and the violence against women, prevention and response, to see whether we covered most of your interests. So the first module is Introduction to the Child and Family Protection Function, telling them what they are coming to do as they join the unit. It has 17 contact hours. Module 2 is Understanding Gender and Gender-Based Violence. So we take them through gender and gender-based violence. Then Module 3 is Child Care and Protection. All issues of child care, all issues of child protection are covered in this module. 53 contact hours. Then Addressing Violence Against Women is another module, 18 contact hours. Then we have a module on male engagement in GBV prevention, because there have been a misconception that GBV issues concern only women, but we put in a module, how can male be engaged and they become champions of preventing violence against women. So male engagement is a module. Module 6 is approaches for addressing GBV and VAC, the different approaches. Module 7 is multi-sectoral approach and collaboration, especially focusing on the partners that we work with, DPP, gender, probation and social welfare officers, and all those partners, NGOs. Then module 8 is leadership and management, because we know that some of them are managers, especially those gazetted officers who join CFPO. Then we have a module on cross-cutting issues, where we put all these other issues of conflict, human rights, and so on. Then the 10th module is field studies and field tours. Before they come out of the induction course, they should have visited the forensic lab of the police, for example, the reformatory schools, the remand homes, and so on. So these are the modules that are in our tools. In total, 303 contact hours. And this course generates 20 credit units when we fit them into our training system and in the National Council of Higher Education system. So the tools are being developed to fit properly into our police training system, because our training system, for the audience, is school-based. These ones we do in hotels are mainly seminars and workshops, but when we take people for induction courses, we take them to police training schools, and we take them there 3 months, 2 months. So this course, Child and Family Protection Induction course, therefore, 10 modules, 83 topics. So the total contact hours is 303. The duration of the course is 8 weeks, which is 2 months, and the total credit units generated is 20. So now this course can add on students' academic weights to obtain the national qualifications like diplomas and so on. If you say I did the Child and Family Protection Unit course and I generated 20 credit units, you can use it as you pursue your further advancement. So I'm going to jump. I put the details of the modules just for the purpose of those who may want to get to it later. So I'm just going to jump all these slides, because these are the topics under each module, which we can't go through right now because of time, but those who will get the presentation will get. So this is the module 10. For example, we shall visit the police stations, women's cells, juvenile cells, remand homes, approved schools, family and children courts, and so on. So what are the implications for these tools? There is now a standard content for training CFPOs and their stakeholders. And the books are, when I say standard content, these books have been developed and printed at international standards. We even obtained an ISBN number from the National Library Board of Uganda. It's called ISBN, International Standard Book Number. And they fit also into the police training standards or format. The training has been designed on competence-based basis, blending knowledge or blending theory with practice. So we are going to see improved prevention and response to GBV and VAC by the people who will go through these tools. And we expect to see improved case management. The tools fit into the training system, and these are some tools that can facilitate accreditation of the course in case we present it. Director training will tell us whether this is one of the courses that he will present to National Council for accreditation. And overall, we expect improved professionalism by the police in handling GBV and VAC cases. So I would like to end by giving some special recognition and thanks to people. First, to the Inspector General of Police, sir, for allowing this process to proceed and eventually for approving these tools. Because remember, when we finished them, we brought them to your office. Your office scrutinized them, sent them to the legal department to see whether everything in there is legal and not misrepresented. And the IGP approved the tools and appended his signature on them. And even assured us that he would officiate at the launch. So we are very grateful, sir, that you are here representing him. So I would also like to thank the government of Sweden for providing the funds. I think you need to clap for them. Special thanks go to IDLO for funding the program. I want to give special recognition to Madame Barbara. I understand she's not here. She's represented by Madame Joyce. Can you please wave? We have been with Joyce, Madame Joyce, in every step. And if you saw in the picture, she was there. Madame Jennifer Achoroi, she's there. We've been moved. And she was, those people were in the drafting team. I remember I was in the group for violence against women, and I was there with Madame Jennifer, and we drafted that unit with another doctor from Lago. So they were actually participating in the drafting. And then Samson, where is Samson? We have been with Samson, and all the people of IDLO, please, can you stand up? And they're in the kitchen. Okay, yeah, they are there. Then I would like to thank my director of HRD. He has been coordinating every step here, linking us with the management, Afande Kafero, and guiding us step by step. Up to yesterday midnight, we are still talking about, Afande, do I have a chief guest tomorrow? And that kind of thing. Thank you very much, sir. Then the CPC, AIGP Bamnova Ubaldo, he's the one who supervises child and family protection and every step. Most of these workshops was the one coming to officiate, to flag us off. And then the consultant for providing technical support, Mr. Robert, stand up again. He did a great job, and there was a lot of not sleeping. The drafting team who were with us in Entebbe are drafting the real content. Can you please stand up? Drafting team. Everyone was in the drafting, Mr. Kaima, Dr. Grace Mutono, Fred Nantam. You know, these are homegrown tools. Only IDLO and the consultant were the external people. Everything came from internal capacity. You can see, Kaima is almost a professor. Dr. Grace Nantam is a CID trainer for the last 36 years. So we are using, Madame Lillian is a forensic expert, and so on. So we are using our internal expertise. And then the pre-testing institutions, Commandant PTS Kabale, can you please stand up? He gave us his trainers for 3 days. And we are testing this content on them. And they gave us very good feedback. And I was surprised. They were saying male engagement, this issue of male engagement, and also where is the people living with disabilities? We don't see them here. So we had to beef up our manual from their feedback. Then the validation team, all the people we invited in Kabila Country Club, who helped us to validate this content. Can you please stand up? The people who got involved in the validation team, especially the partners. Yeah, these came from IWONET, Uganda Law Society, and so on. Madam Dolin, you were there. I saw you. Penal Reform International, and so on. Then the printing team. Do we have the printer people here from Quick Computing? They have also worked so hard. Yesterday I left the offices at midnight, still working on the printing, and you can see the damage they are giving us. That's how our tools look like. And the manuals themselves must be around. And all of you people, the invited guests, I thank you very much for honoring our invitation and for turning up for this event. So, sir, that's what I can say about the tools that we are launching today. And I thank you very much once again for coming. Thank you, sir.
May we add Dr. Kamya a loud round of applause. Thank you, Doctor, for that meticulous presentation. Sir, with your permission, allow me invite AIGP Vamnova Ubaldo, the Chief Political Commissar. Sir, you're welcome.
Our chief guest, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, the Lord Justices present, the representative of the Swedish Embassy, the representative of the country manager, IDLO, the development partners from UNFPA, UNICEF, UN Women, and UNHCR, the directors present, the deputy directors and heads of departments, the stakeholders from the government institutions, stakeholders from different civil society organizations, senior police officers, and other security agencies present, our great partners, the media, ladies and gentlemen. I'm AIGP Vamnova Ubaldo. I'm the Chief Political Commissar of the Uganda Police. May I now take this opportunity, first and foremost, to welcome you all for this exercise. When we are launching the Child and Family Protection Induction Training Curriculum and the manuals under the Directorate of Political Commissariat, the Department of Child and Family. One of the core mandates of the Directorate is to act as a custodian and a watchdog of the vulnerable rights, especially for women and children, as well as ensuring protection of families. The Department of Child and Family Protection realized its mandate through that function. Therefore, the Child and Family Protection Induction Training Manuals is a vital tool as it intends to equip the Child and Family Protection officers with the necessary skills, knowledge, and understanding to safeguard the most vulnerable members in our families. The training manuals represent our continued commitment to upholding the highest standards of professionalism, ethics, in the service within the police force in our communities. The dynamics of our society and the families today face several challenges that are more complex than ever before. Poverty, domestic violence, child abuse, and other social ills that demand our officers not only to be vigilant, but also to be empathetic, knowledgeable, and equipped with a diverse set of tools to prevent and respond to violence effectively. The role of the child and family protection officers is not merely about law enforcement. It encompasses a broader responsibility to advocate for the rights and welfare of children and families, ensuring their protection and nurturing their development within a safe environment. The training manual is designed within these demands in mind. It provides a comprehensive approach that blends theory, practical application, and community engagement. From understanding child psychology and development to dealing with cases of domestic violence, trafficking, and exploitation. Our officers shall be trained to address the multifaceted needs of children and families with both competence and compassion. In a special way, I would like to thank the National Development Law Organization for the technical and the financial support provided in the development of the process of the 3 products. That's the curriculum, the training manual, and the facilitator's guide. In the same vein, I thank the team of experts under the leadership and guidance of the consultant, Mr. Robert Tumsime, and Senior Commissioner Dr. Kamia John, who actively participated in the development of these tools. Their insight and hard work have resulted in a program that is both practical and forward-thinking, ensuring that our officers are prepared to meet the challenges of modern policing with integrity and humanity. As we move forward, may we then commit to upholding the principles set forth in this training manual, working tirelessly to ensure that every child and every family in our nation can live free from fear, neglect, and harm. And I say this for God and my country.
Thank you, CPC. I will not tire to request a loud round of applause for the CPC. Precise, but the message was clear. Thank you, sir. I think the speed is good. And right now, I wish to usher in so that we can get the remarks of AIGP Kafero Moses, the Director, Human Resource Development and Training. Sir, you are welcome. The podium is yours, sir.
Our chief guest this afternoon, the Deputy IGP. Sir, allow me to stand on the protocol that has been read by IGP Abamnoba. We made it together. Actually, I'm the one who made it and gave it to him. So we are therefore in agreement with it. And sir, there has been a big challenge, and it continues to be faced by the children and the families, particularly child neglect, exploitation, domestic violence, and the Uganda Police Force is very central in this, in sorting out all this. As Dr. Kamia rightly said, our role is immense, various directorates in this. Therefore, coming up with such a training tool or training tools, the curriculum itself, again the manual, the trainer's guide, all these again will make the work of the police very well streamlined. Again, Dr. Kamia gave the historical perspective. We have been training, yes, by default. But now again, I thank the development partners because the Swedish embassy and IDLO, because again now you have enabled us streamline the curriculum so that we standardize the training. I thank the Inspector General of Police. As Dr. Kami has rightly told you, he carried the drafts to my office, very huge like this. The copies printed, you see they are smaller. The other ones were intimidating. I think it was not back to back, 1 page per. So he told me these are the documents, sign them. So of course I had to read through all of them. It was quality work, and as a teacher, I'm a teacher by training. But now another task was to take them to the Inspector General of Police for his endorsement. So because he has an intelligence background, he told me I will not just sign. I have to read these things. So Dr. Kamia was always on my neck. How far? Then I would go to a friend IGP. IGP says, I'm on page 130, still reading. And for sure he has read this document. Then thereafter I sent it to Lego for Lego input, and then it was back. So I thank the Inspector General of Police. I thank the Deputy Inspector General of Police, because again, when this launch was put forward on this day, the IGP was out of the country, and the offended DIG was running the institution. And again, when we reached out to him by invitation, he endorsed it. We are not yet officially got a feedback, but yesterday he confirmed that he will be with us. Therefore, this shows that our 2 chief executives are really endorsing this document. There are several benefits that Dr. Kamia rightly mentioned, which I shouldn't repeat in the interest of time. But to me, I believe you have now enhanced the skills of our trainers, because now we have the trainer's guide, much as the curriculum is there. Therefore, I again request our colleagues, IDLO, if they can support us on the TOT training programs, that will be so good. This is also going to improve our investigations. The Directorate of CIDs well are represented. And again, we shall work well as training directorate, but also the political commissariat, particularly the CFPU officers, to ensure that we roll this concept out, not only to the CFPU people, but even the ordinary police persons. Not all the units may have CFPU officers, but at least ordinarily, if every police person has an idea of what this curriculum is about, they will be able to help the families out there. And also, when you read the curriculum critically, the other details Dr. Kamia quickly scanned through, there is a lot of victim support in terms of counseling the victims, etc. So even the community at large, it's not only Uganda Police benefiting, but even the community is benefiting in today's launch, because the skills of counseling the masses out there is going to improve, which again ultimately will improve the trust that the public has in us. I wish to end by thanking again Senior Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kamia, and his team. They have done a lot of work as he took us through the history. All the time he would come to office, I'm going to Kataku, Olirim, Kabalie. We are going to validate the documents at Kabila. And I think I was also not a bad man. I would authorize him. And he was not asking for money from me. All of a sudden, we are going to Katakwi for 5 days. No, we don't want fuel. We have our accommodation money. And he read my mind. So I was saying, this doctor is well funded, but he's keeping quiet alone. But I'm thankful that he has not come to the directorate for funds. He has really been working with the colleagues, the Swedish and IDLO, whom I've already thanked, to facilitate the activities. When I was reading through, maybe on module number 4, which was talking about violence against women, and I was saying, I was discussing with Dr. come here. There is also violence against men. What about a module there? Some men in this hall, some of the suspects are here. But he told me, since there will already be lesson planning, the trainer who is teaching that can put it at a discussion level in class. Of course, the module is talking about violence against women, but then somebody with the issues of violence against men can bring it forward. But also chapter 5, which is module 5, which is looking at male engagement, can also discuss something like that. As a man, you support this initiative. What about also other men who are violated? How are you going to help them? So I think it is therefore sorted. It put the matter to rest. So with those few remarks, I thank you so much, our chief guest. I thank the judiciary, our Lord, the justices who are here, the prison service, and all our personnel who are in the justice law and order sector who are here. And as training, we shall again effectively use it. We are not going to share it. It is going to help us a lot in our training programs. So let me end here in the interest of time. Thank you so much.
That was AIGP Moses Kafero. Sir, I was also trained in the same. Director Kafero talked about training by default. I was also a beneficiary of that training by default. The manuals had not yet come. I was an RP series. We thank the team for having come all this way. Sir, allow me right now call in the representative of IDLO, Ms. Frida Apio. You are welcome, madam.
Our chief guest, the Deputy IGP, my lords, the three lady justices, the representative of the Embassy of Sweden, senior officers, stakeholders, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to speak on behalf of IDLO during the launch of these tools that we worked together with the Uganda Police Force on. And finally, we are getting to this day when we are launching and going to have it put into use. My name is Frida Apio, or Joyce Frida Apio. I know some people know me as Frida, some people know me as Joyce, but my full name is Joyce Frida Apio. I'm a program manager at IDLO. I manage IDLO support on gender across state and non-state institutions. I also manage the support to civil society, as my colleague Samson Asimwe manages other support to state institutions. So it's quite overlapping, and always you will see the two faces and other colleagues in the different engagements. Allow me to speak briefly about IDLO. IDLO is International Development Law Organization, an intergovernmental entity that Uganda is a member. IDLO is charged with the promotion of rule of law mandate in a number of countries across the globe. We pride in creating a culture of justice wherever we have a presence. In Uganda, IDLO has been present since 2018 physically, working on a program that we call the Community Justice Program that seeks to enhance accessibility, quality, and sustainability of justice services to communities in Uganda. The program is funded by the government of Sweden, and that's why we have Sweden represented in our presence. The program has been working with a number of institutions within the justice chain. Uganda Police happens to be one of them, but we have also worked extensively with the judiciary to support the judiciary to achieve its objectives towards its strategic plan. We have worked with Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. We continue to work with them. We have worked with other institutions within the governance and security program, including Ministry of Internal Affairs, specifically the Directorate of Community Service, as well as non-governmental organizations that complement the work of government in providing access to justice. Specifically with the Uganda Police Force, as Dr. Kamia mentioned, we started in 2021 to provide support towards enhancement of capacity to improve GBV response and response to violence against children. This has been done in 10 regions, focusing on officers whom we sometimes call the foot soldiers, but also on the mid-level commanders. And that is where we met Afande Rusoke when we were in Mbarara for the Rizi region mid-level commanders training. As Dr. Kamia mentioned, these trainings gave birth to the development of the manuals. Along the way, we picked lessons, a number of lessons, and kept on implementing them step by step. From focusing on child and family protection officers to extending it to detectives, to extending it to other officers that play a role in the process of investigation and strengthening case management. We also extended it to other stakeholders outside the police, brought on board state attorneys, brought on board probation officers, brought on board medical officers, so that we ensure that everyone who is supposed to play a role is benefiting and is on the same page. Our chief guest, sir, we have also now in the process of procuring equipments to be made available to all the child and family protection officers in the 29 regions of Uganda Police Force, with a big pool remaining at the head office or at the headquarters, and this will be laptops. I would like to make this mention, I think it came from the comments of Afande Kafero, about the involvement of other people, other stakeholders. We continue to learn and to implement some of those lessons. Recently, we engaged a group that is called a Medical Legal Technical Working Group. This group comprises of Ministry of Gender, Uganda Police Force, ODPP, Ministry of Health, in a process to strengthen medical evidence collection, preservation, and presentation in court by conducting trainings. The trainings benefited police officers as well as medical officers. The trainings extended to a level of conducting moot because it was recognized that there is a challenge when it comes to the actual courtroom presentation of medical evidence. So together with these members of the technical working group, with the ODPP taking lead, that process has been going on, and we hope to continue doing more to extend to many officers as much as possible. So continue giving us more insights on how best we can deepen the capacity enhancement. We will appreciate and provide support as much as we can. Sir, I would also like to move a little outside the CFPD to say that IDLO, with the support of Sweden, has also provided other support to Uganda Police Force. We have been in a discussion with CID to conduct further trainings. The trainings with CID is going to focus on cyber crimes management, anti-narcotics, as well as GBV case management, specifically for CID officers. And this is important because it strengthens already and what has been going on and builds on some of the achievements that have already been met with the trainings to CFPOs and other officers that were trained under Child and Family Protection Department. So allow me also mention that this support to CID will also come with support of equipment in form of computers that is already in process in terms of procurement. I would also like to just make mention that outside what we call our direct support, like one of this nature, IDLO provides support to the Uganda Police Force, also through our disbursement to the Ministry of Finance that goes to the GSP Secretariat, formerly JELOS, and comes to Uganda Police Force. Perhaps that one you are able to touch it and plan for it. Dr. Kambia talked about how we pay everything and you don't touch their money. But that one comes to you based on the work plan submitted to JELOS, and you plan for it. But we do what we do in good faith to ensure that you get the best out of the support that we provide. I recall quite a number of times Dr. Kamia making a joke that we could have been under a mango tree for some of these trainings, but we find ourselves in a place with a good ambience. And so we hope you like that. With those few remarks or comments, I would like to again thank you, our chief guest, for allowing to partner with us. We take a lot of pride in the partnership. We cannot explain or demonstrate how we are happy with that, but we hope you do acknowledge, and we would like to continue working with you to better justice services. We recognize the fact that the police is an entry point into the justice system, and because of that, we would like to, as much as possible, strengthen that entry point and make sure the entire process then ends up a success. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Frida Apio. May we add her a loud round of applause. Sir, our chief guest, before we proceed to the next remarks, allow me recognize the presence of Honorable Lady Justice Elizabeth Jane Alviza of the Land Division, who also happens to be the president of the International Association of Women Judges, Uganda chapter. Sir, allow me invite the representative of the Ambassador of Sweden, Ms. Charity Ahumuza. Charity, you're welcome.
Our chief guest, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, my lords, senior police officers, representatives of the justice, law, and order institutions present, representatives of development partners present, the representative of the country manager, IDLO, representatives of civil society organizations, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to adopt the protocol already established. Let me start by first thanking the head doctrine and curriculum for the great presentation of the training curriculum and manual, and the previous speakers for their insightful remarks. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the Uganda Police Force and IDLO for organizing this important event. My name, as has been mentioned before, is Charity Ahumuza Magara. I work at the Embassy of Sweden as a program officer for democracy and human rights. I bring you greetings from the Ambassador of Sweden to Uganda, Ambassador Maria Wakason, who is unfortunately unable to be with us because of her schedule, but has delegated me to represent her. It's a great honor to make remarks today at the launch of the Child and Family Protection Induction Curriculum and Manual. First, and on a personal note, sir, I am a child of the forces. My father, retired Senior Commissioner of Police, David Magara, served the Uganda Police for a very long time. So when I get an opportunity to share a space and to interact with police officers, it always feels like home because you are my family. Secondly, and important for this event, Sweden has been a long-term partner of Uganda. As many of you will know, strengthening rule of law, human rights, and democracy are priority areas for Sweden's development cooperation in Uganda. For many years, the Embassy of Sweden in Kampala has provided financial support towards these priorities through many partners, including the International Development Law Organization. The partnership between the Embassy and IDLO in Uganda started in 2017 with the aim of enhancing access to justice by supporting justice institutions on one hand and empowering citizens on the other. Today's event is particularly important for the Embassy of Sweden because of the importance that Sweden attaches to child protection. Sweden has a long-standing history of taking a leading role in advocating for children's rights and combating violence against children, not least since Sweden was the first country in the world to ban corporal punishment back in 1979. The Uganda Police Annual Crime Report 2023 shows that out of the 140,088 suspects that were arrested and charged to court, 2,957 were children. The 2022-2023 Justice, Law and Order Sector Report further shows that in 2022, 37,277 children were victims of crime. I believe that these statistics are just a snapshot of the number of children registered in our justice system as victims of crime and as children in conflict with the law. There are other statistics, not captured here, of children caught up in family conflicts related to custody, maintenance, succession cases that also end up at the Child and Family Protection Unit. We therefore need to double our efforts to ensure that the best interests of children are upheld in Uganda's justice system. The embassy is proud of the partnership that IDLO has had with the Uganda Police Force towards building capacity of police officers on prevention and response to gender-based violence, violence against children, and application of the Children Diversion Guidelines 2019. We are even more delighted that this partnership has found a more sustainable way of providing capacity building through developing a training curriculum and manual that will be used at Uganda Police Training Schools. As I end, allow me to restate students' commitment to strengthening the rule of law and promoting respect of human rights and democracy in Uganda. I sincerely thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Ms. Charity Ahumuza. It is really very interesting to know that you are one of us. You are born out of the police family. Greetings to the older man. I would have wished that you invite our chief guest, but since I've already taken the podium, I will take that honor. But if you notice, I did not introduce the chief guest by name. For those of you who may not know our chief guest, he is Deputy Inspector General of Police, Ochaya James. I will introduce him as the DIGP. Sir, may I take the honor to invite you to make your remarks, sir, and communication.
Yeah, thank you, PRO. My Lord Justices, the representative of the Swedish Embassy, Charity Magara, Madam Apio Joyce Frida, representing the country manager, IDLO. Allow me also ride on the protocol that has already been set, because as you note, those who were in the kitchen were many, and they took their time. I wouldn't like to add salt to spoil the soup. So I'll ride on that protocol. But as I've already been introduced, Ochaya James, Deputy Inspector General of Police. I'm here representing the Inspector General of Police. He has sent you greetings. He had wished to be here personally, but as you know, we are in election today in Kisoro. So he's actually at the command center, making sure it ends peacefully. So I'm here representing him. I would also like to note, apart from our daughter from the Swedish embassy, Apio has been with us for a very, very long time. I don't know why she was shy to talk about it, but I know we got to know her when she was still working with Urinet. I don't know how many years ago. And they also developed for us some very good documents. I remember one of them was 101 things you want to know about police. I don't know how many of you read that book. If you read that book, all what you want to know about police is there. I don't know if we can appear, if we can have some more copies, because it will help us in even what we are trying to do today. We do appreciate the Swedish Embassy, the IDLO, and all the partners that have been mentioned, including our colleagues from the NGO world, for the partnership that has propelled police to where it is today. As you're aware, the basket funding is very small. That's why you see my friend Kamia. He's an African man. And in Africa, the eyes are in the hands. So when you don't feel and touch, you have not seen, and you can never get contented. That's why he was talking about the money not being, felt. He wanted to touch to ensure that it has really reached. So we thank him and the team for the work that you have done. It's a no mean achievement. It entailed a lot of work. Now we have the tool. We have the curriculum, we have the manual, and we have the guide, which I believe we shall put in the right use. However, that is one side of the coin. What about the community? What do we have for the community? We should have something which is preventive. How do we prevent violence? How do we prevent SGBV from occurring? So this is where we need now to focus our effort. As you know, Uganda has a young population, 70%. That means most of them go into either friendship, relationships, or marriage when they are young. They have never been counseled. They don't know the turbulence that comes with relationship and marriage. That's why we have a lot of SGBV. And actually, for the last 3 months, when you look at our statistics of murder, it's from couples. a man cutting off the woman's head, a woman cutting off the genital of the man, name it. So it's always connected. It's not maybe a neighbor or whatever, no. All this violence are within. So what does that tell us? I would suggest that we need to come up with a program. We can start with school children. I've seen a similar program like that in the north, where young girls, they form kind of an association, and then they are also given a platform to talk on radios. They tell the community or the public what they envisage to do when they grow up, or what they aspire to become when they grow up. And they also come up with advice to their colleagues, not to be taken advantage of, because at the end of the day, some of these boys, when they, are approaching them, they come with sweet words, but later on, after taking advantage of them, they are abandoned. Some are abandoned when they are pregnant. So those ones fall out of school. And then, they go into poverty. So we would have something like that. And I believe when we start from there, it can help us mitigate some of the challenges that we have in terms of gender violence. 2, we have talked about manpower, especially of the female gender in the police force. Currently, our ratio is at 17%. Maybe it has changed with the new 3,000 that are at Cavalier. We are yet to check the ratio. We want all of us to encourage our sisters to join, not only police, prisons, UPDF, because policing now is changing. We have to integrate gender mainstreaming. And now we are policing not only the normal public, but also the refugee community, where SGBV is very prevalent, and where they find only men deployed at the police units. They either turn back and go away, and they don't register those cases because they cannot confide in the male. They prefer to interact with the female gender. So if we don't have many in the police force, then it becomes a challenge in policing those areas that are vulnerable, like the refugee community. I know some of you who have joined, there's a time I told the personnel of those who are in the Women Affairs Department, that they should go out talking to university students, those in the technical institutions, to encourage the female to join. Because some of them feared, their hair being cut. They value, the hair so much that they don't want scissors on them. But I thought hairs grow. Yeah. But of course, you need to be there to talk to them. And even the training, I think, Kafero, the training, I think, is not like it used to be previously. They are also trying to modernize it. Of course, some ladies fear, They think the training is too much and so on and so forth. But we need them to join so that it helps us. Today's launch of these books adds into the shelves of what we have, and always we thank our partners. We have the gender policy, which we are now implementing. We have the human rights policy, which we are implementing. So we now have some good legal and regulatory frameworks. But you all know that there are two bills in Parliament that is being considered. One is the marriage bill. The second one is the SGBV bill. Actually, today we should have appeared before Parliament to give our views on the SGBV bill. Now, how connected are these things that we are doing vis-a-vis the bill? We need to see how to give our input so that these laws, again, don't bring in issues of domestic violence, especially the marriage bill. So we need to, I don't know how to go about it, but that is an area that we need to look at so that these documents are seamless when we are implementing them. Now, I don't know whether we also considered, I'm happy that Appeal and group are thinking of capacitating our CID, especially in the issues of cyber investigations. But if you note, there's a terrible misuse of the social media. Actually, we have registered over 10 cases where young girls using social media are approaching us, the older generation, for relationship. Girls of 14 years, 16 years. Can you be my friend? I want you to be my friend. What? You can imagine. So how do we handle that? So these are things we need to think about and see how to curtail them. Then we are also happy that yesterday they handed over to us what we call the Citizen Interaction Center at the CID headquarters, Kiburi. This project is being funded by UNODC to help us improve on investigation and complaint handling. So this is the second center that we are having. The first one was established during the COVID. That was specifically for SGBV at Naguru. So now we are beginning to have platforms through which various complaints are going to be handled. And we believe that will go a long way in improving on service delivery. I want to make a request. I know IDLO, you have a lot of programs and the equipment you have given us. Now that they have proved to be part of us, we needed to give them some promotion. Appeal can become a couple. Because they have the police at heart. But of course, you know, we are like Oliver Twist. We shall always ask for more. Our concerns here is the shelters. We have only one shelter at Kiburi. It's a small one. I'm told it takes only 6 victims of either child trafficking or, victims of SGBV. We're mooting an idea of having a one-stop center where all these things about medical investigations, ODPP, they work together. And our thought was that if we could establish it in Nagalama, there's a good hospital in Nagalama. So if we can have the center near there, then we shall have a one-stop that can help us in handling victims of violence. So that calls for more support. You can look through and see if your basket still has something. You can still consider so that we really help these people. The Sustainable Development Goal principle is leaving no one behind. Now we have these books in text. We also need something of a Braille version. We had advocated to begin with the annual crime report so that our consumers there, whether they don't call them disabled. There was a time they were calling them physically challenged. Recently, I was in South Korea. They called them physically determined. So I think there's a lot of terminology when it comes to those category of people. So how do we bring them on board? Recently, I saw a clip which was demonstrating a married man having impregnated a deaf young girl. And hers was to demonstrate, because she could not talk that, this. So she was just demonstrating this, So how do we bring this category of people to consume, also to protect themselves? And should abuse happen, how can they be helped? So these are questions that we need to ask ourselves, and then we have to provide a seamless service to all of us. So with those not so many words, I would like again to thank the Embassy of Sweden through IDLO for the continuous support to the Uganda Police Force. I would also like to thank all those who put together this document, especially the consultants and the team, for doing a good job, and we hope we shall continue. I know there are many, many, many things to be done. We shall still do it together. And I thank all of you who have contributed in one way or another. I see the team here, others from Kabalie, Masindi. I see others from Katakwi, Olilim, and our colleagues there. So it means it has not been a one person's work. It has been a collective effort. So we thank you, we thank you, we thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Inspector General of Police, for your wise guidance and very, very rich remarks. Sir, we still have just some small item we shall wish you to perform, and that one will mark the climax of this function. And that is going to be the launch of the Child and Family Protection Induction Curriculum Manuals just on our left, on my left and those who are seated this side. I will call upon the following officers who shall have the CPC to accompany you. All those seated on your left and right. We shall have the Director HRD, we shall have Dr. Kamia as well, and Maureen, Assistant Commissioner of Police Maureen, please. Cameramen, if you find challenges, you tell us, we reorganize the grouping. But we need to capture everybody. Everyone counts. Some little smiling. I think we are good to go. We shall have one. The chief guest will be a constant, and the partners, the representative of the Swedish Embassy and the IDLO. May we have other partners on board? All our partners, please come over. If you are here and you are not in the Uganda Police Force, you are our partner. Because you come here in the name of partnership. Now the challenge is, you cannot repeat such a photo moment. Yes. Cameramen, please come and help us, because you know these things better than me. Some standing behind. And the smiling this time round. Some can pull a little side, can pull slightly to balance that. Just a moment, One key. I think this side is okay. You can pull a little. Now the photos can take off. Don't forget to smile. Yeah, that's all. No, I've not. One with me as well. Thank you very much, everybody. We have very little time here, I think, sir, without even taking a seat. Allow me now announce the last item, which is lunch. But I thank, oh, sorry. Sorry. We are going to take the anthems as we get out. I request that we stand up. We shall have the anthems in reverse order. Thank you very much. Let's head for lunch. I thank all of you for having come and attended this function. It has been me, SCP Chituma Rusoke. I sign out.